Hello, good evening and welcome to JoyNews Prime. Coming up in the next half hour, former President John Dramani Mahama accuses President Akufo-Addo and his government of piling the judiciary with judges sympathetic to the new patriotic party. And governing NPP justifies police decision to amend proposed routes for the minorities Occupy BOG protest, describing it as proactive intervention to forestall any unforeseen danger. Plus, some state institutions responsible for protecting Ghana's natural resources and preserving its environmental heritage continue to look on for the Aproma forest to be dissipated. We have more coming up shortly. I am Beverly Broom. Please stay with us. Thanks for choosing us. We go straight into our stories now. And former President John Dramani Mahama has accused President Akufo-Addo and his government of piling the judiciary with judges sympathetic to the new patriotic party. Mr. Mahama insists the current government has deliberately and consciously appointed its cronies to the second arm of government. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the third annual Lawyers' Conference of the National Democratic Congress on Saturday, September 2, he said the party has done this to help them avoid accountability when they are out of office. According to him, there are about 80 of such judges in the system, and the number may cross 100.
Currently, the judiciary is packed with NPP inclined judges because this government has carried out a deliberate policy of putting their people on the bench. It's more than 80 towards 100 and counting. He's packed the courts, and we know that they've packed the courts because they want to avoid accountability after they have left office. And so all manner of people who are known to have been partisan, to have been executives of their party, who are in the legal profession, are being leapfrogged into the superior courts and other places. We must be prepared as NDC legal persons to also go onto the bench so that we can balance out, the judiciary. And so I encourage some of you to look at careers on the bench so that we can balance out what's the current situation.
Now, the minority in Parliament is insisting that its planned Occupy BOG demonstration poses no security threats to the public. The NDC MP say the Ghana Police Service is thus applying the Public Order Act injuriously. According to the Boko Central MP, Mahama, the caucus will oppose the injunction application on Monday. He added that the police has demonstrated bad faith as they have been engaging them throughout their plan for the protest. He was speaking on Newsfile.
A very good law can be used injuriously by very bad people. The Public Order Act, as the name suggests, is to assist, ensure public order. But clearly, you need to establish that there's a real threat to public order. This is a protest march in which we have not heard one single Ghanaian make a statement that they are going to challenge the protesters, that they are going to organize a counter demonstration. Nobody has said they're going to organize a counter demonstration. So there's really no threat. Secondly, this is a protest march led by members of Parliament. And so we're also very interested in a peaceful and orderly march to the central bank and to present our petitions and then to depart peacefully, because our reputations are also on the line. In fact, we'll be watching the police more than they will be watching us. And for every demonstration that I have participated in, we've made sure that the entire march is covered, every angle of it, by our own cameras, so that when there's a problem anywhere, we will all be able to detect who caused it. Because, again, You must always look out for infiltrators. You must look out for, sometimes the infiltrators can actually be, sponsored state security actors. So you can't assume that all the people wearing uniforms and standing there, mean well for the demonstrators. Clearly, we have done this before. We've done this severally. What has happened today? What has degenerated about the Ghana Police Service that they cannot police citizens to march along the same routes that they could march through several years ago? If anything at all, these past demonstrations should serve as experience for the police service in how to police people to march along those same routes. So if you could do this several years ago, why can't you do it today?
Now, the communications director of the governing New Patriotic Party, Richard Ayyaba, says the decision of the Ghana Police to alter the routes for the minorities Occupy BOG protest does not affect the essence of the protest. Mr. Ayyaba says the decision is appropriate as it will enable the police protect the Bank of Ghana and other state institutions from unforeseen incidents. On Newsfile, he asked Ghanaians to discuss the issue dispassionately and urge the police to be consistent and apply the same principles to other demonstrations in the future.
The conversation should be looked at dispassionately to say that the essential spirit of demonstration is not hurt by saying go here. If that is a conversation, we should look at it. Now, the decision of the demonstrators to want to go to a particular destination and the position of the police saying that maybe it might be a security zone, and the headquarters, if you've been there recently, I think we all know where it's at, is a very crowded place. And so for me, and we're beginning to see an instance where the police is trying to manage the crowd situation and to prevent unforeseen situations happening.
The fact that it's already a crowded place, right, does not defeat their arguments.
Well, you couldn't possibly avoid the organic crowd that is there, but this one you can prevent it, right? So that's really the logic there. But I think that if on whole, we are going to understand that, okay, well, for certain reasons, we can designate that Independence Square as the converging point for all demonstrations.
You'll be fine with that?
I'll be okay with it, but the only thing is that it has to be consistent. And in doing that, Samson, I think you agree with me, it doesn't take away the inherent value and right of citizens to demonstrate, but it is only helping the police manage the unintended outcomes of crowd coming together and possibilities of anything happening. And I think we should focus on.
Now, on the plot to oust the IGP, Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative blamed politicians for the politicization of the Ghana Police Service, especially in the appointment of top officers. Mary Awilani Ada explained politicians have infiltrated the service with their members and not necessarily persons with the interest of serving the nation and doing so professionally at all times. Her comments come after a series of claims by the Director General of Operations of the Ghana Police Service, COP George Alex Mensah, when he appeared before an ad hoc committee of Parliament.
I believe that this is an opportunity for the service itself to begin to then put in place measures to sanitize itself. Admittedly, the politicians from the majority and minority party, as we have, are the ones who have bred this monster for us. It is a fact that it's been spoken over time that they have infiltrated the service with their supporters, and we have seen a lot of things happen in the service which show that it's not people who are interested in serving this nation and promoting service with integrity that have gone into the police service. However, the service itself can do something to ensure that they begin to sanitize them. And one would be, Honorable Mahama has spoken to recruitment. However, they are the same people behind the scenes pushing their constituents to go and join the police service. And I'm not leaving out the other parties. Both are equally guilty and culpable in this instance.
All right.
Let us begin to allow our systems and institutions to work.
Moving on, the Aproma forest, a vital forest reserve in the country, now finds itself on the cliff of destruction due to the relentless activities of illegal mining. The forest, nestled in the lush landscape of Ghana, was once a citadel of biodiversity and ecological significance. In our latest Hotline documentary, Erastus Asaridonko reports how state institutions, including regulatory bodies and law enforcement agencies who are responsible for protecting Ghana's natural resources and preserving its environmental heritage, look on for the forest to be dissipated.
This is the Kobro community, an old town which sits deep within the Aproma Forest Reserve. Residents still have fresh memories of how the destruction of the Kobro section of the reserve started in 2018. One by one, they tell me of how the late Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Sir John, in 2018 convinced the townsfolk that the government was undertaking a reclamation exercise in the forest.
Initially, they said they were covering pits, but then they started building settlements. We wondered why they were setting up shelters. They were just covering pits. Then a number of machines were brought in, so we mobilized to demonstrate. But Sir John came in and assured us they were just planting trees. But after a month, when we went back, the forest was crawling a lot of miners.
That began a series of events that marked the woes and destruction of the once beautiful natural forest. A forest entry permit was granted to Unique Star Point Company Limited to carry out reclamation activities on some portions of the forest reserve in November 2017. In the same year, a forest entry permit was granted to Heritage Imperial Company Limited to conduct prospecting activities in December 2017. Unique Star Point Company Limited and Heritage Imperial Company Limited belong to Emmanuel Donald Intua and Reynolds Kwabi. Contrary to mining regulations, what was supposed to be prospecting and reclamation of the Aproma Forest Reserve turned out to be active mining of the reserve with over 18 excavators and a number of bulldozers.
The forest became a no-go area. We could not enter the forest. They mounted huge barrier. They brought in bodyguards. I used to drive some miners into the forest. We had to endure drills from the military. We concluded that these people were sent from the top.
The illegal activity in the Kobro section of the Aproma Forest Reserve went on for months under the watch of the Forestry Commission.
So this devastation went on, and the Aproma Forest Reserve sites are right here. The Forestry Commission says it had no evil, it did not see anybody bringing in heavy equipment. This has lasted for close to a year. No government official got wind of it, or nobody was prepared to even face them.
After failed attempts by Operation Vanguard and other security agencies to stop the illegality, the Interministerial Task Force on Illegal Mining moved in to stop the pillaging of the forest.
Now, the Cybersecurity Authority says it has recorded an estimated 49.5 million Ghana cedi as direct financial losses through cyber fraud activities from January to June 2023. The Director General of the authority, Dr. Albert Ntribuesiako, speaking at a press launch of the 2023 National Cybercrime Awareness Month, said the amount represents only 20% of possible losses due to the inability of the authority to be visible across the country to track cybercrime cases.
But somebody may be somewhere in the Upper East or Brunhaf or Eastern region, suffers cyber incident. The person goes to report the incident to the district police. If you ask me, the authority hasn't got visibility as I speak now. And there is also a system being run at the judiciary, the case tracking system that seeks to record every cyber crime, and then it runs through if it's being investigated and prosecuted. That system has not fully been implemented. So I think we are at a certain level of maturity to have full visibility across the entire chain, since there are multiple players. So that is the state as far as answers on arrest, prosecution, and conviction. It is my expectation that within the next 2 years, we should be able to harmonize these processes and be able to provide 360 degrees in this particular area. But that is one area that requires a bit of work to be done. But in terms of losses, yes, we have. Even though what I'm going to share with you will be a fraction because of the earlier problem. Because once you have all the agencies collating this information, then you can also tax them to document how much in case they have financial losses. So that place in terms of harmonization, integration is not complete. Therefore, it means there are gaps. But authority on its own has started, and I want to commend my team, the National Set Team, for adding that component. So from January to June of this year, in terms of financial losses, we're estimating about 49.5 million Ghana cedis as direct financial losses. This is, again, a fraction based on the report that is received by the authority. And I don't think this will be possibly above 15-20% of the financial, direct financial losses. Indirect financial losses hasn't been recorded because cyber attack could affect availability. So if your system is not running, like ECG particular case, if availability, it goes off, I don't get power, it affects almost everyone. Even the person running cold store in a certain hinterland. So again, quantifying losses in the cyber domain, I think that's why it's a PhD question. But I think the figures I've given to you is a starting point, and I think we need to do more.
The Deputy Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Aproma, reiterated that with the expansion of Ghana's internet access rate, there is the need for stakeholder collaboration to ensure digital safety.
The rapid advancement of digital technologies has transformed the way we live, work, and interact with each other and the world around us. However, as the digital age brings numerous opportunities, so are its risks to individuals, organizations, and societies. Cyber threats such as cyberbullying, privacy breaches, misinformation, and disinformation have become prevalent and of urgent concern. Ghana is no exception to these risks, particularly as the country scales up connectivity and takes on greater strides in achieving the country's digitalization agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Group Special Mobile Association's Connectivity Index 2023 report, which measures the performance of 170 countries against the critical enablers of mobile internet adoption. Ghana is ranked third in Africa with a score of 51.4%, marking significant progress in our internet penetration in the last 5 years. The same report highlights Ghana's score of 86.69% in online security, a key dimension of the index, which is consistent with the country's score on the ITU's Global Cybersecurity Index. Currently, Ghana's internet access rate stands at 23.05 million, representing 68.2% of the population. Of this number, 6.6 million, which is 19.5%, are active social media users, contributing to the country's 13th place in the world on the list of countries that spend a substantial amount of time on the internet.
Now, Ecobank Ghana, as part of its corporate social responsibility, has donated food and other items to the Porters Village Orphanage. According to the acting managing director of Ecobank Ghana, Joanna Mensah, the donation is aimed at making social impact and giving back to the societies in which they operate.
Ecobank Ghana, under its Employee Volunteerism Initiative, has donated items amounting to 280,000 Ghana cedis to the Porters Village Orphanage and other institutions. The items include food, drinks, sanitary tissues, stationery, malaria and typhoid testing kits. According to Acting Managing Director Joanna Mensah, the gesture forms part of the bank's commitment towards the development of the country.
And as Ecobank, we, as part of our corporate social responsibility, we like to, every year, annually, we donate to institutions. And by this time around, we felt that let's also make a social impact. So we identified a number of underprivileged people. And this is one of them. We had 5 places. And really, we are very happy to be here to make an impact, to make people smile, at the end of the day. Once you're a blessing, and you make that kind of impact, people appreciate it and they're also happy at the end.
The Executive Director of the orphanage, Nanama Eduosu, expressed appreciation to Ecobank for the gesture.
This donation is so timely. Now, many of our children, students are vacating and they are coming home and the numbers are increasing because often when they vacate and they go, the numbers come down a little. But when the university students, the SHS students vacate, we have the huge numbers. Food, you can't keep these children and starve them. The food we have here, the oil, the corn, everybody knows in Ghana how expensive these food items are right now. So for us to receive them, it's a big relief on us because we know that in the next few weeks, at least we are settled, the children can eat comfortably. So thank you, Ecobank staff, for supporting the Porters Village to also support these vulnerable children.
Ecobank also made donations to the Weja Leprosarium, Pentecost Hospital in Medina, Suntreso Hospital, and Sekondi prisons.
We do some more stories now. As food inflation continues to surge, traders at the Central Business District say food prices on the market have stabilized. The Ghana Statistical Service pegged food inflation for the month of July at 55, a slight increase from the 54.2% recorded in June. Traders at the Malamata market are, however, decrying the low patronage. Linda Ayan's report read to you.
In July, food inflation, as reported by the Ghana Statistical Service, was at 55%, indicating a slight increase from the previous month rate of 54%. This uptick in inflation raised concerns about the cost of living in the country and its potential impact on consumers and businesses. The hike in food prices got many lamenting, resulting in low patronage of foodstuff in various markets. But while the numbers in the book of the Statistical Service show an increase in food inflation, traders at the Malata market are portraying a different picture. According to them, there has been stability in the prices of foodstuff amidst the upwards adjustment in inflation over the past few months.
Prices are good, unlike before. This was sold at 100 cedis, but it's now sold at 45 or 50 cedis.
1 but they say about 50. Ubenya bikura 45.
They say no niema na aba no aba, body ne de aba. Ne bo no, they say no.
We get about 6 or 7 fingers of plantain at 10 cedis and sell 5 or 6 fingers at 10 cedis. The prices are now affordable.
They say they are 10 cedi, a 4, 10 cedi or 5 cedi.
While other traders have said foodstuff are now affordable, this trader at the market believes otherwise.
Nane buono ne ye kakra. Ba se ano buona sa kosoro kakra.
Initially, the prices were okay, but now the price have increased. But I can't tell the reason behind the hikes.
Say transport no. Say because yes we are kofa konkoma ene deba.
For many consumers, they may side with this line of observation. A consumer who spoke to Joy News expressed concerns about the prices of commodity at the market. To her, prices should be cheaper, considering the bumper harvest recorded this year.
We are in a season of bumper harvest, but the prices are not as good as it's supposed to. The dollar hasn't appreciated, so I don't know why prices still keeps increasing.
On that note, we end Joy News Prime tonight. You can read more of our stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Beverly Broom. Enjoy the rest of our programs.